hello everyone. I'm Suhash. Today I'm going to be talking about speedy race cars, content marketing, and how to push a sport forward. So if that song is sort of the soundtrack of your weekend, so we should be friends. Let's talk about Formula One after the show here. All right, cool. So the sport of Formula One has seen a tremendous growth over the past couple of years. TV viewership has increased year over year since 2017. While the sport gains unprecedented new ground in previously underserved markets. More women, more kids, and more non-Europeans, primarily us North Americans, are tuning in on Sundays to watch, hoping to see their favorite team or driver stand on the top step of the podium. So, what's changed really? Why has there been such a surge in mass interest for a sport that was historically pretty niche? And pretty purist, historically. So, sorry. It's important to sort of take a little bit of a retrospective to see how we got here. So in 2017, Formula One was sort of in the depths of a multi-year decline. So TV viewership was down from a high of 600 million in 2008 to around 350 million in 2017. That's almost 50% down. A number of factors contributed to it, primarily this guy. So Bernie, he used to be the former CEO of F1. Here's a lovely, lovely quote by the guy. Like, yikes, right? That's all I can really say. He was very much sort of using Formula One as his own personal passion project. A lot of the deals and moves that the sport made under his stewardship lined his pockets, to be quite frank. We raced in terrible markets. We made lots of concessions to older teams in order to keep them around. All in all, the situation wasn't that great. There was also a significant or a distinct lack of competition at the top of the sport. There were only 2 or 3 teams winning week over week over week. Fans were super bored. They were not interested in what was happening sort of at the back end of the field, but there were great stories there. No one was talking about it. Furthermore, there was a lack of accessibility. Needless to say, Bernie did not like the internet or trying new things. So up until 2017, there was no way we could, officially, legally stream Formula One. So we were stuck with, convoluted and archaic TV sports packages and things like that. So all of that sort of resulted in the state of Formula One in 2017 being very, if you know, you know. So filled with purists, lots of gatekeeping. Something needed to be done, as demonstrated by the declining viewership year over year. So what happened was the sport was eventually sold in 2017 in full. And immediately after acquisition, we saw a new overarching strategy starting to take place. Former MD of operations was quoted as pitching an idea that was going to show Formula One in a completely different light and introduce it to a brand new audience. Enter Drive to Survive, the documentary series. The production team was embedded throughout the 2018 season, embedded with most of the teams, showing fans a side of Formula One that they had never ever seen before. And safe to say it was a resounding success. Aashish is going to take over to sort of talk about why we think that is.
Hello. I'm Aashish Arora. I'm the interactive designer at the studio. So let's just take in this visual. This person is one of my favorite people on the show. He's the reason I watched the show. He's also one of the purists. He's the person who says, oh, I hate how F1 is becoming so much drama. But you can see here, he's like the drama king of the show. So what changed from, the pre-2017 F1 and now we're on season 5, they really leveraged content marketing. And with leveraging the content marketing, one of the things they did was this. They humanized storytelling. And you might ask, how did they humanize storytelling? One of the main aspects of the show is how it translates the world of F1 for normal people, how it focuses, beyond the personalities. It goes beyond the track, and it shows how the cars are built. It shows how people grew up over their childhoods. So this way, a lot of normal people were able to find similarities. They were able to relate to the content. Other than doing a really great job at humanizing storytelling, they did some other really good things. Like they hired the right people, they created a distinctive branding, they put in new cameras. People were able to see all the behind of the scenes, which people weren't able to do before. And another thing was the accessibility. There's a lot of data on the show. If you've ever watched F1, it's really hard to understand. So if, when it's broadcasting, like people don't understand. What they did is they used design to make the data very accessible. They taught people what are the terms, what's happening, and so people were able to go watch F1. All right. Here's a great quote by same person. He said, if you have watched season 5 of the show, in the opening episode, he talks about, this is not a docuseries, it's more like Top Gun. Sounds like a cool quote, right? But he's actually mocking the show. He's saying that, oh, it's very dramatized. But what the whole dramatization of the show, dramatization of the sport did was make it relatable. It also created great brand loyalty for them. So it's flipped the whole narrative for people. It also pissed off a lot of purists. And lastly, what can you learn? What can you take from this show and add to your own content? They did a very good job of showing the story. They understood the audience that audience doesn't understand. To bring in new people, they had to leverage everything and they had to translate the whole show, which they did a very good job at. And then they added great design. And lastly, my favorite thing is they added the drama. And you don't have to add drama. It means they created a great hook, which people were able to which compelled people to watch the show. So lastly, I'm gonna say is, if you have compelling content and you add great design to it, you're gonna make impactful brand experience. Over to you.
Oh, we're not done. Sorry, we're not done. Just one final bit. Sorry, just to close things off. Sorry. So, the show wasn't the only contributor to Formula One's success. There was a much wider digital strategy that went to it. One of the things that Formula One did in tandem with launching this wider push in marketing was launch F1 TV, which is their global OTT platform. It's essentially democratized access for viewers to catch, every single race session, quali, practice, shows, analysis, all of that. And essentially, we broke free from TV. We don't have to get TSN packages and pay $50 to watch one race. It was a great move for us, not a wonderful move for the bottom line of F1, but it's such a shift where they're thinking about us as the viewer in an effort to grow. Furthermore, they officially launched their esports category as well. They have successful buy-in from all the major teams, pulling in that gamer, tech, and Twitch audience. Their current world champion can be found every weekend. He's not at a track, racing at a virtual track with his friends. Furthermore, F1 put a lot of dollars into investing on online social media, and we saw positive growth across the board there. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to mention is what we sort of are calling the Drive to Survive blueprint. If you check on Netflix or Amazon, there's a couple of news shows like Breakpoint and Full Swing that are digging deeper into golf and tennis respectively. Very much like Drive to Survive, they're focusing on the characters, the interplays, and the relationships, and the struggles and the growths of these people. And then the sport itself is sort of forming the background of the narrative. Time will only tell if we see these, increase in viewerships for tennis and golf. Only time will tell. So, thank you.